The final story in XLZA-BK002, also known as John Zaremba Book 2 or the Blue Book, is Hierogamy. Hierogamy. And Hierogamy is the inverse of the final story from Book 1, which was The Universe is Ours. Just like every other story in Book 2, the stories are the inverse of their equivalent from Book 1. So The Universe is Ours from Book 1 ended with an image of a man and a woman escaping the void, struggling in the void, suffering in the void, and then by their own will escaping it, not knowing that they were in this void together, assuming they were in it separately, but escaping into existence together, if you will. Hierogamy was originally titled The Universe Does Not Deserve Us, which is probably very fitting. I mean, it is. It's a very fitting title for the inverse of The Universe is Ours. But I changed the title to Hierogamy after doing a little bit of research and kind of after completing the story. Hierogamy is just as appropriate, perhaps more appropriate. I don't know. I'm not a good judge of these sorts of things. I like hierogamy better. What does hierogamy mean? Hierogamy is the Greek word for a divine union of gods, male and female gods, through their own divinity in union, creating a new chapter of the cosmos, or reinventing the cosmos, rebirthing the cosmos. Creating a world being created by their divine union. That's what hierogamy means. And that is really fitting in the context of the first story, The Universe is Ours, and then now in this conclusion of that, The Universe Doesn't Deserve Us. So what is it about? What is hierogamy about? This is a hard one for me to explain, guys, because I don't know. I don't know how to say it in any way that sounds sort of in any sort of narrative form. I mean, it's a story, but it's not a narrative story. I really do struggle to explain the concepts of some of these stories. The stories that are more like, I don't know, like sort of metaphysical, they're not ambiguous because they do have meaning, but I struggle to put the meaning into normal like non-fictional words. I struggle to explain them in a coherent manner. I think that the ideas behind some of these stories are very rational, and they are very deliberate, but there's an ambiguity to them that it's hard to sort of, essentially, the gods that created this existence that is described in these stories, they created life on, you could call it Earth, if you will, the planet, the world. They created life on the world. And after overseeing and nurturing and developing the life that they created, they determined that the life is a disappointment to them. The world is their children, these two gods. The world is their children. And they're deeply disappointed by what their children became. And their children live off of them. There's a dependency there. And they are fed up with that dependency. The dependency pains them deeply, deeply. And they want a way to escape that. They feel trapped by the world that they created. It's maybe another way to explain it. And I don't want to give too much away in the means they take to escape being trapped by the world that they created. But they do return back to the void from which they came in the first book. So, in the first story of the first book, in the final story of the first book, God, this is such a mess. Forgive me, guys. This is a rough one for me to explain. Reading it makes sense. When I read it, it all just is in sync in my brain, and it feels right. It sounds right, and it's completely rational in my brain. And I would hope that when you read it, it's rational to you as well. I would hope when you read it, it's like makes sense and it resonates with you in some deep level. but I really struggle to just be like some sort of professor about some of the stories I've written, especially in this book two. This book two is just so different than book one in so many ways. But they return to the void from where they came. They'd rather struggle in nothingness than exist in somethingness if that somethingness is deeply disappointing to them. That concept, so that's kind of the heart of the story, is that those that create, those that build worlds, those that give birth to new life, can often, perhaps always, I don't know, I don't want to say always, but can often become entrapped by it. The stuff that they create can shackle them, can suck them dry. Their offspring are inevitably vampiric in nature. And that's troubling to those that have built and have created and have excelled. That's kind of what the story is about. It's about humanity, obviously. I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying that. It's also about ritual. It is about love, true love, love in the deepest sense of love. Love as male and female love as, well, as divine gods, but divine gods that are part of a team. They're a duo. This is tough to me explain. It's the last story in the book. It really punctuates the book well. I really think that it does. I'm quite confident that it does. What else can I say about Hierogamy? It's also a story about, I love the idea, the concept of creating and destroying simultaneously. I think that's a very masculine quality. I've talked about this in other videos. In my Czar's Top Shelf series, when I talk about music and stuff like that, I mentioned that at least once or twice. I think that's a very masculine quality that males can both create and destroy at the same time. And this story is very much about that. Again, without giving too much away, when you read it, I hope you read it. If you read it, when you read it, I got to stay positive, right? When you read it, you'll understand what I mean by that. Hierogamy, the final story in book 2. Book comes out in February. And like I said, I hope that you check it out. As we get closer to February, I'll do some more videos just about the overall concept of the book and maybe talk a little bit about some of the other aspects of it. So that's a few words about Hierogamy. Again, this is difficult for me to explain. I enjoy this story quite a bit. When I read it, I still get the feels from it. It means a lot, and hopefully it would mean a lot to you as well. So the book will be out in February. Hope you check it out. Thanks for watching.